Alright. Tell me what's going on today.
We tried to clear out yesterday and had all the paperwork snafu. So we have not received our clearance paperwork back from port control yet. So we've decided to take off to Malpiti, which is another French Polynesian island about 25 miles away. And there should be Wi-Fi there, so we're gonna chill out there. There's a hike to do. Hopefully there's manta rays and snorkeling and good stuff.
We had left Bora Bora in calm weather, but by the time we got to Malpiti, things had picked up quite a bit.
Well, we've had our first change in plan for this trip. We were planning on heading over towards Malpiti and waiting there for a day or two, enjoying the island while we waited for our clearance from French Polynesia. However, the wind and the waves were a little higher than anticipated, which made the entrance into the pass at Malpiti look pretty dicey. So instead, we decided to just keep on sailing. So we are now on our way towards Niue. Unfortunately, this means we now have to figure out how to get our clearance while we're at sea. And that could prove to be a bit interesting. But we're now off. Probably 6-ish days or so is my guess.
We set out with the intention of sailing all the way to Niue, but the weather didn't quite feel like cooperating. So instead, our next stop ended up being at Beveridge Reef in the middle of the Pacific.
So I wouldn't exactly say this passage has gotten off to a great start. First night out last night, several squalls rolling through. Winds were shifting 30 to 40 degrees in a matter of seconds. And wind was dropping anywhere from 1 to 30 plus knots, so it's been a bit of a wild ride and looks like more's coming. Isn't that just a lovely thing to wake up to this morning?
I'm a lovely thing to wake up to this morning.
Well, I meant the rain, but yes, you are.
First night out on passage, very little sleep.
Yeah, always a good way to get started.
It took way too long for blue sky to reappear, but when it did, it was time for some good sailing.
It actually cleared up a little bit. The wind seems to decide what it wanted to do, which is a nice and welcome change. So we've got full mainsail up and the screecher out.
Amy usually gets a little bit seasick at the start of a passage, but fortunately this time, she had a little something special to help her find her sea legs.
Look at those manners.
Yeah.
Drinking straight from the bottle.
Polishing off my homemade ginger beer.
I hope it's delicious.
It is delicious.
Had a pretty good night last night. Was able to stay wing on wing with the 2 head sails all night long. No squalls coming through, which was a nice change of pace. And now I get to enjoy a beautiful sunrise.
I always love welcoming in a new day with a gorgeous sunrise, and this passage didn't disappoint. Amy usually sleeps in pretty late on the mornings while we're on passage, so I use the time to catch up on emails and work on videos.
So modern technology is pretty damn cool. We are in the middle of the ocean right now after having left French Polynesia. However, the amount of time between publishing a video on YouTube had been too long, so my awesome sister on land was able to log into our account, publish the video, then email me the comments people are leaving via our Iridium Go, and I can reply back to her with my replies, which she then posts on YouTube, so it's like I'm actually there.
After our success flying Phoenix in the middle of our Pacific crossing, I was eager to try a mid-passage flight again. However, this time, the drone lost GPS signal and decided to freak out. Fortunately, I was able to compensate for the sudden drifting, and we didn't lose the drone, although there were a few close calls trying to land. It took a while for my heart to stop pounding, so it was probably a good thing that we had a great sunset and an easy night of wing-on-wing sailing before another squall hit in the morning.
It's never a particularly good start to the day when you wake up and all the clouds on the horizon look like that. And of course it's coming towards us, so time to start reefing.
The squall was a pretty good one, with apparent winds whipping up into the mid-20s, so reefing early was definitely the right call. Once the sails are prepared, it can actually be a lot of fun watching the water cascade down the sails and know that you're getting a free boat cleaning. Of course, while we're on passage, the salt will quickly be returning, but any cleaning where I don't have to scrub is fine by me.
Book check time. How many books have you read this passage?
A lot. Probably a dozen.
You haven't even been out here a dozen days!
I've been reading more than a book a day.
Man, I married a
Aren't
smart
Kindles
woman.
amazing?
I'm a dummy.
Would not do this trip without a Kindle. No.
Once that squall passed us, it actually turned out to be a pretty beautiful day. Not even a cloud in the sky. Unfortunately, the winds are dying out on us, so that's not ideal. And they're coming out of the north. Sails on the wrong side of the boat. That feels weird.
The wind may have been on the wrong side of the boat, but at least we were still sailing and got to enjoy a beautiful sunset together.
Sunset time!
Sunset time!
Although Amy is limiting where all the whales are.
Yeah, it's peak whale season. Come on, guys. Where are the whales?
Highly disappointing.
Not buying it.
Oh, bummer.
The whales never did show up on this passage, and even worse, the winds didn't want to stay either. The next day, they completely died out and caused us to decide a stop at Beveridge Reef was in order so that we could await their return before heading on to Niue.
Hey,
Hi.
where are we going?
Beverage Reef.
Why are we going there?
This is awesome.
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 That and there's no wind.
Well, sure. If you want to be all negative about it, there's no wind. But you can be positive and think of how awesome it is.
Just a little lagoon in the middle of the ocean, huh?
Yeah. Basically, a small little puddle of slightly calmer water in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Which is kind of wild.
We'll take whatever we can get, huh?
Yeah.
This has been a bit of a tricky passage. We started out with a day of lots of squalls, wind shifting 30 to 40 degrees every time that came through. Then wind was straight out of the east, so we had to do wing on wing for a while. Then it shifted around to the southeast, so we did a reach all the way down to about 20 degrees south, where we went back to wing on wing in the hopes that the wind would last long enough for us to get to Beveridge Reef. Unfortunately, the wind died out about 12 hours earlier than forecasted, so we have been motoring for quite a while now to get into Beverage. True wind speed is now 1.5 knots, so not like we can really sail in that, and otherwise we'd just be stuck out in the middle of the ocean. So, got to motor a little bit, but we are almost there, and pretty excited about it. So there is how we know we are getting close to Beverage Reef. You can start to see some breaking waves over the reef itself. But there is no island, no trees, nothing sticking up over the horizon. It makes it a little nervous navigating.
I did some intense testing, and after determining that Phoenix was again ready to go, we made our final turn in towards the pass at Beveridge Reef.